Welcome. Welcome to 4D Self-Mastery. I'm David Saville, Richie Watson, and we're so happy to have you here.
Hey everybody, yeah, I'm delighted you're joining us. Just been doing my best to make David laugh so he messes this up, but he done beautifully. Well done. Good job.
He
Yeah,
always does.
yeah, I'll be doing that. You'll be seeing a lot of that. Yes, welcome. Very excited to have you coming with us. Very excited to serve you. Those who I haven't met and David's been introducing me to, I'm delighted that you're coming on this journey with us.
Yeah, I can't wait. As you would have read, and as you would have experienced over time, really, like 15 years of this stuff, of various different things that I've tried, even like immerse myself, even all the coaching I've received. Nothing comes close to this in for what it does, because nothing out there really has shown me what I'm doing inside myself when I'm actually facing the worst or the best of myself. Nothing does. And Rich, what he's been able to do is just amazing, really. In terms of what he's achieved in his own life, even though he's been through all kinds of hell, physically, emotionally, with the things that have happened, these circumstances, what he's been able to do, but what he's been able to translate through his own experience. I mean, I've been blessed for the past decade to have had, up close knowledge. And then he has formed it into the most transformational journey that I've ever been part of, which is why I'm so proud to be here as a student. There's so much more I need to learn and improve within myself, and really proud that I get to co-facilitate and coach on it. Man, it's a deep privilege to be here.
Well, I've been blessed with having met a human magpie who was so desperate to get to grips with what it is I was doing that it helped me become very, very clear in teaching it. That's been an enormous blessing. So I'm interested. I think this would be great to share. What has been the most important utility and effect of 4D for you in recent times in your recent life?
Yeah, because of course there's much over the past 10 years. But in recent, of course it has to be my relationship with Anya. This incredible woman who in some ways seems like, was put on this earth for me, in terms of all the things I've wanted all my life, in terms of a woman, in terms of a relationship. She represents and she has like those within her. To be able to engage with her from a place of freedom and a place of exploration, and because it's not been clear, so for the first few months it was just all amazing. It was all everything you want it to be, full rose tinted world. But it was a few months in when that shifted, and it felt like we were at war with each other, and everything inside me was screaming, no, I was wrong, it's all bullshit. In fact, heading to meet her for this very difficult conversation, ready to kind of tell her all the things she's done wrong and what's wrong within that, right? But in my mind, that, like, I didn't want to be that, but that's what
Mhm.
was the internal battle that I
Yeah.
was going on. But with 4D, of course, what we focus on is what my internal experience, what I'm feeling, not what I'm thinking, and not acting through the spiral of triggers. To be able to come to a place of pure feeling meant that something I couldn't have even imagined came to me, of realizing that actually there's something more important that I need to say, something I haven't expressed in all this time. And I've actually deliberately held back from saying for different reasons, which meant that when we met, and the very first time I saw her, that evening, she was waiting for a battle too. Like, she was ready to, because again, her experience
Mm.
of past relationships, she was ready to hear what all she thinks she's done wrong. By the time I met her with loving eyes, she was thrown back. She told me later. And then when we were alone, and the words I could speak to her, I just told her there's just something I need to say that I've been holding back from saying. Again, I think she was bracing herself. And then I said for the very first time, I love you. And she was actually like confused, I think, and like, what did you say? So I said it again. And then we were there, embraced. And man, like 45 minutes to an hour, we were there. In fact, she had to sit down after a while because she could no longer stand. And she didn't utter a word, and neither of us did. and we just held each other. And then when we did speak, you know, that night we never spoke about anything that we thought was so important. You know, it was a completely different experience of us. And
Yeah.
man, that was one of those most significant moments, which is why that's led to literally at the moment I've got her stuff around me, you know, because she's actually like moving in now, you know, and that's because of what I was able to do, because of the journey I've been on with 4D, to be able to come to that moment, man, you know, like, you know, it's one of the most important things I've ever done.
It's beautiful, man. It's the miracles of it are within its ability to help us radically step out of the script of our life so far, which then plays itself out in patterns that are unconscious and invisible and impossible virtually to step outside of. It allows us to do that. It allows us to do that in our relationship to everything, because this is what it is. This is about mastery over our relationships, our relationship to our work, our relationship to our relationships themselves with people. The biggest relationships are the peoply ones. And that's certainly where we see most difference. But the difference when you step outside of your own script and you're able to do that and say, be and do something you've never said, been and done, because you haven't had access to it, it creates then an invitation for somebody else to be able to do that. And when two people do that, it's miraculous, really miraculous. But it's in all areas, man. It's in all areas, you know. And I certainly experience it as a father, and that's probably where it's been most important to me. You know, for the whole 14 years that she's been here. But I mean, in those early stages when I was developing and using it, realizing I was able to have this surreal moment of presence within what was a reactionary moment. And I was about to say, be and do the thing I'd always been and was more now as well. Because when you're in a parenting dynamic, you know, you become kind of concentrated, and a lot of the worst of you does. And like there's a lot of good too, but in the difficult triggered moments, and realizing there's this surreal, beautiful presence where it's like, oh, I can say, be and do something absolutely different. And what you're in a different kind of reality.
Mm.
And you're not just passing on the things you were passed on. You're not just conditioning your own patterns onto this other person. You know, you're opening up an opportunity for something different. And it's amazing while you're facilitating that for this person, you're doing it yourself. You're reconditioning yourself to be someone different and beyond all of that, you know, and fulfill a whole new potential for yourself. And in this last couple of years, where of course I've experienced the massive health challenges, it's been absolutely integral to everything, because when I've been, and then this has been, I never thought it would be a blessing. It's become a blessing when it comes to my work, in that all of the things I thought just weren't there for me anymore, impatience and, you know, um, uh, um, temperament issues or anything like that, it just wasn't there for me anymore. When at my most exhausted, when at my weakest, when at my most pain, when just at my lowest and most difficult in this physical condition, there it all was there, you know, that returning. And so being able to apply what, you know, 4D, and through that period still come to that presence and be able to do and be better. And even when I got it wrong, even and especially when I got it wrong, the important thing was being able to access it swiftly, so that once I've fucked up, I can then go and do what needs to be done in order to make things better, and perhaps even better than they would have been without the fuck up, you know, because of what I get to embody, and I get to pass on in those moments, which is, okay, we do fuck up, but this is what we do once we fucked up. And you know, one of my favorite quotes, as you know, is the Miles Davis quote, which is, when you hit a wrong note, it's the next note which determines whether it was good or bad. And that's life, man. That's jazz, but it's most definitely life, in all areas. And this is what 4D allows us to do. You know, whether it's the challenges coming to us and it's outside of our control, or it's how we're meeting what's happening and we're making the mistake, whichever it is, it allows us to be able to get the next note, the next action, the next thing we say and do, get that right in such a way that it actually, we're continually, no matter what's happening, we're continuing the trajectory of better and goodness. Whereas what happens ordinarily, as we all know, when difficult times come, the thing we say, be, and do in the early stages usually make things worse and create more circumstances to then be able to overcome. And there's usually this trajectory and this and this. But allowing us to be and do our best, even when things are at the most difficult. And that's one of the most amazing things that this offers, you know. So that's certainly been it for me as a father in recent times. And it's been absolutely invaluable when I've been at my most challenged. Applied it all in the ways I did to create the success before. But for me, that's actually been the greatest success, actually, in my most important relationship, which is, you know, with my daughter.
Yeah, obviously I've got to witness that, man. You know, it's 10 years actually since I've met you and we began this, you know. So I remember back then, you know, you were embodying, you know, you're the freest, most frustratingly free of pain person, like past triggers that I'd ever met, right? As much as I was trying to get to things, I wasn't able to. And seeing the humanness in you in the past few years of obviously when you're physically you know, when your health was affected so strongly that you did have these more like moments like I might have or someone else might have. And what did you do? You did the thing that you've been teaching me and others. And it works even in those darkest of moments, man, you know. And not just that, because of course that's just being able to be your best when you're at your lowest. But then, man, this is one of the things which I think speaks to you and speaks to what we can all do if we embody it, which is like there was a time when, you know, when you actually, you know, when you had that infection and you came close to death, right? You know, that terrible, terrible time, man, where I was so scared for what might happen to you. And then you started to improve. You got a bit better. You still hadn't got out of bed, but in your mind, you created this whole plan for a retreat center in Spain, and like how it's going to work, and to seek investment for it, and like that, you had access to that when you physically couldn't get out of bed, but because you were so connected, you wanted to be of service, and you came up with an amazing idea, an amazing offer. You know, that's what you're so capable of doing, man. You know, and so I think that glimpse of being your best and your lowest and being the most creative and of service too is something that I definitely want to get more of. You know, and I think all of us on this journey will be do us good to follow in your footsteps there.
Well, this is where the, as we'll be teaching, the transmute, transcend, transform process of meaningful transformation. This is what it enables us to do. It enables us to facilitate meaningful, real, genuine healing and transformation and overcoming in a short period. Not any emotional bypassing, none of that stuff, which then limits our ability to do whatever we're going to do next. But meaningful, actual growth where we are a different human being. And as we know, as we reference, like, you know, different genetic sequences turning on in our nervous system. You know, when we actually accomplish that, we are different and we're able to meet life differently. And what we're able to do next, maybe an hour after even, which, you know, the kind of experience I've had after some devastatingly difficult challenges, what you're able to do next, create something good. Never, and we know we don't want to drift into these kind of pseudo self-development, self-help platitudes, like, you know, like there's always a blessing in things, because some things are what they are, which are tragic. But what we're able to do is create something good from it. and that is a goodness we can create. But that's always proportionate. How much goodness we can create from these difficult times is proportionate to the degree of realness that our state is in. And you know, are we actually fully present to ourselves in these moments to be able to create that goodness? Because if we don't, if we haven't fully become present to the realness of where we are, whatever we do next is built upon shaky foundations. The realer we make our foundations from the beginning, the stronger they are. The more bullshitty our foundations are from the beginning, then what we build next is built on bullshit, and that crumbles very quickly. But if we're able to use 4D in the way, you know, we're going to teach, then every step, whether it's professionally, relationally, personally, whatever it is, maybe it's in lifestyle change, whatever it is, every step is steel and stone. It's steel and stone. It's the firmest because of those foundations of realness that we're building upon. And that's one of the, you know, again, one of the awesome gifts of this. And, you know, so that's how I was able to do that, you know, in these stages, is because being able to use 4D, get so radically real, and then you have this access to your most and your deepest and your highest. And then the world just opens up with its horizons and its opportunities that you couldn't see, and you weren't the person to have access to them either, because how much of your own potential you're embodying is so limited, and how much you can see is available to you is so limited. And we open all of that up. We open all of that up, man, and then life becomes, you know, extraordinary, and the progress can become exponential.
Yeah, man, and we've seen that with every person who's joined us so far, right? You know, everyone who's engaged with it, everyone who's actually used it, you know, it's like use it and it works. You know, that's the beautiful thing about this. It is one of the rare universal tools that I've ever come across. Yeah, that is working with what's real, what we actually go through as human beings, and then, as you said, unlocks the potential inside us. So we become more than we were, you know, which means we can do far more than we could ever do, and experience far more than we could ever experience, you know, and that just keeps getting better as well. The more we go in, the deeper we go.
But the reason it works every time when you use it, doesn't work when you don't. That's definitely true.
That's definitely true.
The reason it works is because it is how life works, you know. And so you align yourself with how life works in such a way of understanding how yourself and how you work and how life works. It works. It can't, nothing else can happen. It has to work, you know, because it is in alignment with how life itself works and how we work, you know, throughout all the four dimensions. And then it becomes this choice with, you know, you use it and it works, or you don't and it doesn't, and then that's over to everyone. Everyone's individual choice to make, but to see what happens when people do use it and consistently. Because this is the thing, after, you know, you can continue on a journey with us and keep coming back to us over whatever period of time, with everything we're doing. You can come to future retreats we're going to be doing, but from this course you will have the compass. That's the beautiful thing. You will have the compass, and you will be able to use it for the rest of your life, to be able to shift your patterns, to be able to get unstuck, to be able to experience your most at your worst, but also to experience your most at your best, and you know, deepen that and increase by far the amount of best there is in your life. You know, and this one course will give you this compass to be able to use it going forward. And that's what I love about the course. That's what I love about it, is the completeness of it. Here you are. Now you know it. See what happens when you use it.
Damn right. Yeah. Yeah, well, man, I think that's laid out the journey well. You know, I think for me, I'm getting excited about it as we talk about it. You know, I can't wait to get started. And so, for those of you about to begin with us, there will be a welcome pack which you'll receive soon. And in that welcome pack, it will be questions that will help you get real, that will help you be very clear on where you actually are, where you want to go. And so you and we can help you to on this journey to apply 4D in the places that you need it most, so that at the end of this 5-month journey, your life has transformed in so many ways. You have transformed in so many ways that you have your compass, and then it's up to you what you do with it. So look out for that welcome pack soon, and give as much as you can to each of those answers. The more you give, the more you will create.
Right on. Thanks, David.
Mm.
Look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yeah, me too. See you soon.